The Bible is full of incredible stories. It tells us about real people. These people lived long ago, but their stories can still teach us today. Some of these people are called heroes. They were brave and strong. They had a lot of faith in God. Let's learn about a few of them. These heroes weren't perfect. They made mistakes just like us, but they teach us about faith and courage. They show us how to trust God, even when things are hard. Their stories remind us that God is always with us. He helps us to be brave too. David was a shepherd. He took care of sheep. One day a giant named Goliath came to fight the Israelites. Goliath was very big and strong. Everyone was scared of him, but David wasn't afraid. David knew that God was with him. He went to fight Goliath with just a slingshot and some stones. David trusted God, and God gave him the victory. This story teaches us that even when we feel small, God can help us to do great things. Esther was a queen. She was beautiful and kind, but her people were in danger. A wicked man named Haman wanted to hurt them. Esther had to make a choice. She could stay quiet, or she could speak up and risk her own life. Esther was afraid, but she knew she had to do the right thing. She bravely went to the king and told him about Haman's plan. Because of Esther's courage, her people were saved. Esther's story shows us the importance of standing up for what we believe in, even when it's hard. Daniel was a good man who loved God. He was known for his unwavering faith and his dedication to his beliefs. Every day he would set aside time to pray, showing his devotion and trust in God. He was taken away from his home to a foreign land, a place where the customs and beliefs were different from his own. Despite being in a strange and unfamiliar environment, Daniel remained steadfast in his faith. There, he faced many challenges. The new land was filled with trials and tribulations that tested his faith and resolve, but Daniel never wavered, holding on to his belief in God. Some jealous men, envious of Daniel's favor with the king, tricked the king. They were determined to find a way to bring Daniel down, to make him falter in his faith. They made a rule that said no one could pray to God for 30 days. This decree was designed specifically to trap Daniel, knowing that he would never abandon his prayers. If they did, they would be thrown into a den of lions. The punishment was severe and terrifying, meant to instill fear and obedience. Daniel knew this rule was wrong. He understood that his loyalty to God was more important than any earthly decree. He continued to pray to God, undeterred by the threat of the lion's den. His faith was his anchor, and he would not be swayed. He prayed 3 times a day, just like he always had. Morning, noon, and night, Daniel would kneel and lift his heart to God, seeking strength and guidance. He trusted God to protect him. Daniel believed that no matter what happened, God would be with him, watching over him and keeping him safe. The jealous men were angry when they found out that Daniel was still praying. Their plan had worked, and they eagerly reported his defiance to the king. They told the king, and Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. The king, though saddened, had no choice but to follow the law he had signed. Daniel was cast into the den, but his faith remained unshaken, trusting that God would deliver him from harm. The power of faith, lessons from ancient heroes. These stories, passed down through generations, have shaped the moral and spiritual fabric of countless cultures. They are more than just tales. They are profound lessons that continue to resonate with us today. Take, for instance, the story of Daniel. Thrown into a den of lions for his unwavering faith, it seemed like his fate was sealed, but God was with Daniel. Miraculously, the lions didn't hurt him. This wasn't just a stroke of luck, it was a testament to the power of faith and divine protection. The king, who had reluctantly ordered Daniel's punishment, was amazed when he found Daniel safe the next morning. This event not only saved Daniel, but also transformed the king's perspective on faith and divine intervention. Daniel's story reminds us that God is always with us. In moments of despair and danger, when all seems lost, faith can be our guiding light. He protects us, even in the scariest times. This protection isn't always about physical safety. Sometimes it's about finding inner peace and strength to face our fears. These stories of David, Esther, and Daniel are thousands of years old, but they still have the power to inspire us today. Each of these heroes faced monumental challenges, yet their faith and courage saw them through. Each hero faced a difficult situation. David confronted the giant Goliath. Esther risked her life to save her people, and Daniel stood firm in his faith despite the threat of death. They could have given up or given in to fear. The easy path would have been to surrender, to let fear dictate their actions. But they chose to trust in God. Their faith was their anchor, giving them the strength to stand firm and face their challenges head-on. They showed incredible courage and faith. Their stories are not just about overcoming external obstacles, but also about conquering internal fears and doubts. Their stories are not just about the past. They are timeless lessons that transcend generations, offering wisdom and guidance for anyone willing to listen. They offer powerful lessons for our lives today. In a world filled with uncertainty and challenges, these ancient heroes remind us of the enduring power of faith and resilience. We may not face giants or lions, but we all have our own challenges to overcome. Whether it's personal struggles, professional hurdles, or societal issues, the essence of these stories remains relevant. These stories remind us that we can face our fears with faith. They teach us that with courage and trust in a higher power, we can navigate even the most daunting situations. God will always be with us, just like he was with David, Esther, and Daniel. Their legacy is a beacon of hope, encouraging us to hold steadfast in our beliefs and to find strength in our faith, no matter what challenges we face. Ordinary people, extraordinary faith. The heroes of the Bible were ordinary people. They were shepherds, queens, and captives. They had fears and doubts, just like we do. But they teach us that anyone can be a hero. We can all show courage and faith, even in simple ways. Every day we face situations that test our faith. Maybe we need to stand up for what's right, even when it's unpopular. Maybe we're facing a health problem or a financial struggle. In those moments, it's easy to feel afraid or alone. Facing giants in our own lives can be daunting. These giants come in many forms, whether they are personal fears, overwhelming challenges, or seemingly insurmountable obstacles. But remember David facing Goliath. David, a young shepherd boy, stood before a giant warrior with nothing but a sling and a few stones. He didn't see a giant, he saw an opportunity to glorify God. His faith was unwavering and his courage was rooted in his trust in God. We can choose to see our challenges as opportunities too. Every obstacle we face is a chance to grow, to learn, and to strengthen our faith. We can trust that God will give us the strength to overcome them. Just as David trusted in God's power, we can rely on his strength to guide us through our toughest battles. Each of us faces giants in our lives. These giants might be fear, doubt, or hardship. They can appear in our personal lives, our careers, or even in our spiritual journeys. These giants might be fear, the kind that paralyzes us and keeps us from moving forward, or they might be doubt, the kind that makes us question our abilities and our worth. Hardship too can be a giant, testing our resilience and our faith. But like David, we can face them with courage. We can stand tall, armed with faith and determination, ready to confront whatever comes our way. We can remember that God is bigger than any giant we face. His power and love are greater than any challenge, and with him we can overcome anything. When we face our giants with faith, we honor God. We show our trust in his plan and his timing, and we demonstrate our belief in his ability to carry us through. We also inspire those around us. Our courage and faith can be a beacon of hope for others, showing them that it is possible to overcome challenges with God's help. We show them that it is possible to overcome challenges with God's help. By facing our giants, we not only grow stronger ourselves, but we also pave the way for others to find their own strength and faith. Section 8. Courage to stand up for what's right. Esther's story reminds us that we have a voice. We can use it to speak up for others, especially those who are vulnerable or mistreated. Doing the right thing isn't always easy. It may require us to step out of our comfort zone or face opposition. But like Esther, we can find strength in knowing that we are doing what is right in God's eyes. We may never know the full impact of our actions, but when we stand up for what is right, we make a difference in the world. We reflect God's love and justice. Section 9. Trusting God in difficult times. Daniel's story is a powerful reminder that God is always with us, even in the darkest times. There will be times when we face trials and tribulations. We may feel alone and afraid, but Daniel's experience teaches us that God is faithful. He will never leave us nor forsake us. He is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. When we find ourselves surrounded by lions, let's remember Daniel. Let us hold on to our faith, knowing that God is in control. He can shut the mouths of lions. He can calm the storms in our lives. Section 10. The enduring legacy of faith. The stories of the heroes of the Bible continue to inspire us centuries later. Why? Because they remind us that we serve a powerful and loving God. They show us that faith is not just about believing in God, it's about acting on that belief. It's about trusting God's plan even when we don't understand it. These stories are more than just history. They're a source of hope and encouragement for us today. They teach us that we can face our fears, fight for justice, and overcome challenges, all through the power of faith in God. Section 11. Finding inspiration in timeless stories. Let the stories of these heroes inspire you to live a life of courage and faith. No matter what giants you face, remember that God is with you. He will give you the strength to overcome any obstacle. Trust in Him and He will lead you to victory. May their stories remind us that we are not alone in our struggles. We are part of a long line of faithful men and women who have gone before us. Let their legacy inspire us to live lives of faith, courage, and love.